We have looked at how to go from a structure to the name. Now we're going to go from the name to the structure. The process of going and drawing a structure from the name is very similar from when we went from the structure to the name. We want to identify that parent name, pent. That tells us how many carbons we are going to have. So I am going to write out 5 carbons. Ane tells me that it is all single bonds between those carbons. So I'm going to connect them. There's nothing else in this name, which means every other bond is going to be a hydrogen. If you're not ready to just know how many hydrogens each carbon needs, you can draw out that complete structural formula to show that carbon has 4 total bonds. Right? So you can go through and write in each of those individual bonds, and then you can collapse them into your condensed structural formula. And there you have pentane. Here we have a little bit more of a complicated structure. It's got substituents that are branched off of that parent chain. So I'm going to take a second and highlight each unique feature in the name so I know how to draw this organic compound. Reading this, I see 2,3-dimethyl. The fact that I see numbers tells me we have branches. And then we see the dimethyl, that is the branch in which we are using. So 2,3-dimethyl. Pent tells us the number of carbons, so that is that parent name. Ane tells us that they are single bonds between each of those carbons. Starting with that parent, write out your 5 carbons. And then, because it says ane, we have single bonds. Before I move on, I'm going to put my branches on because we want to account for all of our carbons before we add our hydrogens in. Because we are drawing, you can start counting from either direction. By habit, I go left to right. But it's not wrong to start counting right to left. It's up to you. Just make sure you're counting. So I need to have a methyl group on carbon number 2. So if we have 1, 2, I need a carbon coming up off of that second carbon. And then we have 3, and I need another carbon coming up off of the third carbon. So now I have accounted for all my carbons within this compound. I have my pent, and I have got my dimethyls. There's nothing else I need to add except my hydrogens. Again, you can branch these out and add the hydrogens as bonds and then collapse it, or you can go through and just go into your condensed structure right away. That's what I'm going to do this time so you can see how we can work with this. Looking at the first carbon, it has only got 1 carbon bond. Therefore, to get up to 4, we need 3 hydrogens. So I'm going to just write CH3. On the second carbon, it's got 1, 2, 3 bonds already accounted for. So to get to that 4th bond, it only needs 1 hydrogen. Going to carbon 3. Carbon 3 has 1, 2, 3 carbons, so that means it needs 1 hydrogen. Carbon 4 has 1, 2 carbon bonds. That means it needs 2 hydrogens. And then carbon 5 has 1 carbon bond, so it needs 3 hydrogens. So that takes care of my pentane. Now I need to look at my methyl groups. Methyl groups only have one carbon, so it's going to have a carbon-carbon bond, so they are going to each have their CH3. And that is how you can go directly to a condensed structure from the name. So let's look at a cyclic structure for this drawing. We have cyclohexane. So hex tells us we have 6 carbons. Cyclo tells us that the 6 carbons are going to be in a ring. So we're going to have 1, and it's an ane. Therefore, they're going to be all single bonds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we have connected all of them together. Because there's nothing else in that name, we don't need to add any branches. I'm going to go through the complete structural formula so that you can see where all of the hydrogens come from, remembering that each carbon needs 4 bonds. Each of the carbons in this cyclic structure has 2 with carbons already. So that means we only need 2 hydrogens for each of those. So going to the complete structural formula, and I'm not picky with these complete structural formulas. If you notice that I try to keep the bonds on the carbons and not between the hydrogens, that's just technical rules. But when it comes to cyclics, we can just draw the skeletal structure. And that is how we will typically show, that's really bad hexagon. That is typically how we will show a cyclic alkane, is with the skeleton form. Last one, breaking down the name so we know how many carbons are in the parent, the bonding between the carbons, so that's the suffix, and any potential substituents. So I see we have a 1-ethyl, 2-methyl cyclohexane. So I have everything highlighted so I know what it is I am going to be working with. I have a cyclohexane. I'm going to already just go into my skeletal form with this structure because it's cyclic. So 6 gives us a hexagon. So I'm really good at drawing hexagons. 6 gives us a hexagon, all single bonds between those carbons, so that's my cyclohexane. Then I have a 1-ethyl, 2-methyl. It does not matter where I put carbon 1, pick one. So if you want to do an ethyl as a skeletal form, it's a zigzag. If you want to do an ethyl in its condensed form, it has 2 carbons, so it becomes CH2, CH3. Then our methyl needs to be on carbon 2, so in the skeletal form, we just draw a line out to represent that point where the methyl group would be. In our condensed structural formula, we would draw a line and connect it to that CH3. Both are correct ways in which to represent this chemical structure.